Unfortunately, the tensions between India and China have led to more animosity and friction between the netizens of the two countries. But what is even more tragic is that Chinese media is publishing articles that explain how the Chinese make fun of the world's largest democracy. Recently, an Indian government body launched products like Deepawali diyas, idols, incense sticks, and the radiation chip made of cow dung. This quickly became a trending news story in China. The Global Times reports how the hashtag India develops cow dung chip began trending on Sina Weibo, which is a Chinese microblogging website similar to Twitter. The Chinese newspaper also reports how the Chinese mocked and ridiculed this by referring to these products as India's blind attempt to promote its Made in India cause. It is true that some citizens in both nations go to extreme lengths to ridicule each other, but the Chinese newspaper's decision to publish an article on how Chinese troll Indians is not very friendly either. Showing genuine concern or questioning the scientific credentials of any claim is welcome, but maligning and stereotyping India's image or its Made in India is not. For example, on various occasions, several journalists have shown their genuine concern regarding China's gutter oil, virgin boy eggs, and those traditional Chinese medicines which have used the most unthinkable animal organs or animal products. But certainly, this doesn't mean that the entire Chinese population and the whole country should be stereotyped or vilified. Also, it is very surprising how these Chinese are so surprised and grossed out seeing India using cow dung or cow feces in some eco-friendly products when China itself has a long history of using feces for their so-called medicinal products. According to Sarah Wagner of Pearson College in Yale University, Li Shizhen, in his famous 16th century book on traditional Chinese medicine, carefully listed recipes for a yellow soup, a suspension formed from fresh, dried, or fermented fecal matter. This study, which was published in 2019, noted how a total of 54 fecal medicines were found to have been used in 14 traditional Chinese medical systems. Understandably, China does not appear to be ashamed of these traditions. It actually takes pride in its traditional system, and it even tries to use it as part of its soft power across the world, even though many top scientists are against it. However, it also cannot be ruled out that, like other ancient medicinal systems, some specific traditional Chinese remedies may have something useful and scientifically verifiable too. As far as the cow dung chip is concerned, I will share my views on that a bit later in this episode. But before that, let's focus on how China's aggression and its overconfidence may hurt its global ambitions. For example, it seems that China miscalculated its strategy regarding India and Indians. Some even believe that China felt that it can bully other nations and get away with it. But with India, things were different. Because when Indians show resilience collectively, the impact is global. For instance, when India took steps to ban TikTok for security reasons, America followed suit. As a result, China's soft power took a big jolt. Did that help Made in China? It is also being said that because of China's monopoly and aggression, countries are forced to come together to create alternative supply chains. It was reported that Japanese manufacturers will now be eligible for subsidies if they shift production out of China to India or Bangladesh. Now, will this boost Made in China? Advanced economies are already planning to reduce their over-dependence on China and appear to be keener to partner with a democratic India. Is that going to support Made in China? Who knows whether this Chinese aggression will finally wake India up to improve its manufacturing ability at a faster pace. There is no denying that India has room for improvement in its manufacturing sector, and it will face competition from other South Asian and Southeast Asian nations. But there are also some positive signs to look forward to. For example, the Electronics and Computer Software Export Promotion Council suggests that India's electronic exports could rise 16-fold to $180 billion by 2025. In August this year, it was reported how several companies had pledged $1.5 billion to set up mobile phone factories in India. And according to analysts led by Nilkant Mishra at Credit Suisse Group AG, it is possible to shift an additional 10% of global smartphone production to India in 5 years, most of it from China. Not only that, recently, India also imposed a complete ban on the import of air conditioners with refrigerants, which can boost local manufacturing and reduce over-dependence on China. India is also establishing many mega manufacturing clusters, which aim to strengthen India's manufacturing ability. This survey included 44 industrial zones in India, which are spread all over the country. These oval-shaped marks represent the massive clusters that India has built. For example, this one right here is India's electronics manufacturing corridor. The one over here is the Vadodara, Bharuch and Ankleshwar cluster, which is regarded as India's power engineering and chemicals cluster. There are many of them, as you can see on this map. Sectors include automobile and automobile components, drugs and pharmaceuticals, electronics and consumer appliances, just to name a few. These plans clearly show that India is planning to pursue manufacturing seriously. I think that the best way India can respond to criticism is by emerging as a global manufacturing powerhouse, which it can if it has the right policies and strategies. A couple of months earlier, criticizing India's manufacturing ability, the Chinese newspaper, the Global Times, had published an article that mentioned how Chinese were mocking India because they wanted to boycott something from India, but there was nothing that they could find. Well, there is no doubt that China is well ahead of India in manufacturing, but again, such claims are factually incorrect, as there are a number of items that India exports to China, and it also seems that the demand for certain Indian items has gone up in China recently. For example, iron, steel, Ayurvedic products, and health supplements, just to name a few. The high demand for Indian herbal medicines in China shouldn't be a surprise, as China is one of India's top importers of medicinal herbs. Just a few days ago, it was reported how India has reduced its trade gap with China in the first 5 months of the current fiscal year. Experts believe that it has something to do with the poor domestic demand from India due to the ongoing pandemic. But it also cannot be denied that India is actively pursuing a path to cut down on its Chinese imports. Yes, it is right that India continues to import Chinese products for its key sectors, which is something that cannot be changed overnight. But what annoys many Indians is that India even imports household items that can be produced in India. Regarding the cow dung chip, it is interesting to note that in India, reportedly over 400 scientists from across the country have endorsed an open letter to the chairman of Rashtriya Kamdhenu Ayog, questioning his source of information. So, will the Indian government body respond to these scientists or not? We should know that soon. Anyway, it seems that it's not only about ordinary citizens, but even scientists all over the world need to develop a better scientific temperament. There is an episode that we have already published which focuses on science, pseudoscience, magical thinking, beliefs, and the so-called scientific dogmas, but YouTube disappointed me as this episode didn't get too many views. So if you are interested, please watch that episode and let me know what you think. See you again.